Hi Ben, thank you for joining me on the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. I hope you're well too.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. You've
How
just
much? How much? Sorry, just before I continue, how much am I getting for this? Was it 600 quid? You said
more than about a grand, I think, on it.
a grand. Is that if I do a
Uh,
magic trick?
yeah, yeah. Speaking of magic, you've just performed in Spain and Dublin. How did those shows go?
Oh, brilliant, man, brilliant. Spain. The first time I've done a show like abroad. I've been Spain a few times. Went to Fungarola with my family, and when I was out there, there was this guy who followed me on social media, which again is mental that people in Spain follow me. Like it's mental that, and he had a bar. And he said there was an agent in town. He would like to do a show with you. Do you want to come and meet him? So I met him. Next thing you know, about 12 months later, did a show, ended up selling it out, which is even better because, you're going to a place you think people might not know you. But as I said a minute ago, the beauty of social media is everyone's got access to it on their phone. You put something out there, whether people like it or not, it's going to end up on someone's feed. You know what I mean? Like, I've been very lucky with a lot of the tricks I put out that a lot of them get shared globally, which is beautiful. To be able to perform magic is something that I've always loved to do, but for the tricks to sort of go elsewhere, I mean, mate, I've got people in Japan who follow me. Like they sent me some notes and said how they love my magic and that, like America, Canada, what's the some some countries I've never even heard of, mate. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, mental, honestly. And then yes, I flew back and did a literally, I nearly missed my flight back as well, which I thought when I was, because it was just me traveling back when I was in the airport, Malia Airport, I think it was, like stupid o'clock. It said Belfast International 10:15, and I thought that was when the gate information went up. Little did I know that was when the gate shut. So I'm looking at this board at like 10:15, thinking the gate ain't come up, and then it started flashing red. And I looked to the right of it, and the gate was there. It was something like 15C. Right, turn it in. So I've ran to there was a passport control queue. It was about 3 hours. I thought, this is it. I ain't going to get back. I saw this woman in a wheelchair with all her family, and they went down the speedy route. And I thought, fuck this. Put my sunglasses on, just carried my bags and pretended I was with her. And I managed to get through, and I just made the flight back. So whoever that woman was in the wheelchair, I'm probably her adopted son for like that 10 minutes. But listen, it got me back home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what are your shows like nowadays? What can you tell us about what your shows look like?
Do you know what, right? I write out a set list of tricks that I'm going to do, but I never have a script, which is a lot of people, some magicians, they would go through their patter and what some jokes they're going to say. Me, everything is completely off the cuff. Um, I like to base my show around the audience I've got. So, for instance, in Spain, we had like a younger crowd in the center, and then to the left of me was a slightly older group, probably in, like late 30s, early 40s, still youngsters in a way. But then on my right hand side, it was like a real old generation, right? So it's a mixture of people. And I just played up on it. Like I said to people, has anyone heard of Tommy Cooper? You had a few people say yes. And then I looked over to my right hand side. I said, you were probably at one of their shows, weren't you? Because they're an older generation. And it works off of that. You know, everything I do when there's some clips I put up, I don't tend to put many clips of my show up of the actual tricks because I like people to just experience it firsthand. But with the patter, I love it. Like you get people coming up to you and walking past because where I was in Spain, I was right near the bar, which was fucking mental. But it was like people were walking across halfway through the tricks. I was like, all right, mate, you can tell this is rehearsed, isn't it? You done this bit earlier, didn't you? Yeah, nice shirt. Did you get that in the men's range? Needs an iron. Like I play up on it. I would always pick. It's not picking. It's just you're doing it for the entertainment. And someone actually said, you know, there's not many magic shows you can go to, and you end up getting called a cunt. You get that in mind.
Do you think that's as important as the magic though, like the crowd work and stuff like that?
100%. You know, magic is an art form, and someone said once, you know, when you do a trick, it's like the patter is about 80 to 90%, and then that 10% is selling the trick. Now, my act is revolved all around. Most people think I'm a comedian, which I'm not. You know, I'm a magician who does magic, obviously, but sometimes I will throw in a few gags. But my based on my heroes, if you look at the people who I idolize, like your Tommy Cooper, your Paul Daniels, a lot of their magic is all about being funny. You know, Wayne Dobson. It's all based on like slapstick comedy, and I love a lot of mine is more crowd. You know, working with the crowd. Played the SSE Arena in Belfast, and I got this bloke up. I took his wallet off him. So no, it had nothing to do with the trick. But I said to him, "Have you got a wallet?" And he went, "Yes." And he gave it to me, and I said, "Do you see how easy that is? If I did that on the street, I'd get done for a mugging. But if I do it on a stage, when I do it on a stage, it's classed as entertainment." It's true though, isn't it? Like when you're on a
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
people are doing anything, right? The only thing is, I forgot to give him his wallet back when I walked off the stage. So me and him are walking off, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Where's my wallet?" I'm like, I look back and like, I was like, "Oh, I've just left that on the stage." And there was another actor, and he's like, I was like, "No, I have." He's like, "No, come on." I was like, "Let me tell you something now, mate. If I was going to do a trick with your wallet, I would have done it on the stage and not in front of just one person." So you had to wait till the interval, and I walked back on the stage, and everyone, like the crowd, sort of who didn't get a drink, noticed that I was walking back on the stage to give this guy his wallet back, and yeah, quite amusing.
Yeah. Just to go back a bit, obviously the name, the Magic Mod. When did you get into magic and the mod scene?
I suppose I grew into both of them really because I was so young. I was too young to sort of understand either, but I was brought up into it. You know, I was probably a mod before I was a magician. I got my first magic set when I was about 6 years old, Paul Daniels. But my love of music probably started at even younger. You know, first album I really listened to and understood was on Mod Cons and Setting Suns by the Jam. Two albums that sort of, if you come to my act, come to a show of mine, you can see the influences I've got straight away by the dress sense. You could say, right, the Jam, the Small Faces, the Who, and then the style, the swagger, Liam Gallagher. It's like someone, can't think who it was. I did an interview with someone, and it like the intro was like, imagine getting Tommy Cooper, Liam Gallagher, Paul Daniels, and Paul Weller together, and you put them in a mixer, and then out comes the Magic Mod. And I was like, that's perfect. A lot of people think I come up with that, but I'll be honest, if I was that good, I'd come up with a hell of a lot more. You know what I mean? But it was, I think it was a local paper in Crawley when I was there, but it was just beautiful, and that's the best way to sort of, you know, tell someone about my act. If you're a fan of all them people, you're gonna love my show, and if you're not, then go and watch Dynamo or something like that.
Do you like Dynamo?
I don't mind him at all. Like, I play up on it. A lot of people think I don't like him and that, but listen, it's like the whole Oasis Blur thing. You know, like, I always have a laugh. I've met Dynamo a few times before, when probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Met him in Brighton, and it's totally different. Like, he is a fantastic illusionist and a fantastic card manipulator. The What he does is brilliant, but we're two different people. It is literally like comparing a Rolls Royce with a Mini. Obviously, I'm the Rolls Royce, right? But it's like, it's totally different. They're both good, and they get you from A to B, and one's better to look at than the other. Do you know what I'm saying? But I play up in it a big time just for a laugh, because you got to have, in magic, there's a lot of magicians, right? And it's always good to have be competitive, but we're totally different, totally different. Like, as I said, I couldn't imagine him getting away with half the things that I get away with what I say to a crowd. But I admire him, and I am inspired by a lot of his work because what he did or what he's done in magic is brilliant. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the last thing he did where he sort of buried himself alive and all that shit. But David Blaine done it years ago, and David Blaine again was someone who I looked up to. Fantastic magician. Sort of the thing is about David Blaine is he'll come up with something to blow your mind, and then he'll disappear literally for like 2-3 years, and then he'll come out again. I remember when he was in London and he did it was called Above the Below, and he was in a glass box above the Thames by Tower Bridge for 44 days and 44 nights. And I remember I was probably about 14, 15. I remember begging my mum to go up there with me. And it was like London was about half-hour train journey from Crawley, and we used to go up there. I probably went up there about 10 times just to look at him and wave at him. And I met his fiance at the time and ended up getting a photo with her and a signed card. And it was just one of them things where I don't know, but you feel like you're close to a hero there, even though he's in a box and you're looking up. Like my mum was like, "Stack this." I'm sitting in the corner reading the paper with an ice cream, and there's me just standing at this box waving, doing the same thing. You know what I mean? I've waved at him once, but I'm carrying on waving. But it was weird. But a lot of his stuff is, again, what he does is an art form, and a lot of people don't understand. They say, "Why'd you do it?" And he says, "Because I love the idea of death," which is fucking mental, right? But he says he wants to bring himself as close to death as possible because he saw people who he loved suffer. And if you think about that, that's really deep. For instance, his mum, I believe, died of like a really horrible illness. And he says when he's doing these stunts, it brings him closer to her, which it's incredible, the stuff he does. I certainly wouldn't do it. I'll leave that for him. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be in a glass box, or he's done some mental stuff. He's buried himself alive. He's been in a block of ice in Times Square for, it was 62 hours or something mental. And then he did one called Vertigo, where he was on this like pole, which was literally no bigger than shoulder width, right? And he stood there. I think that was 24 hours, right? And then on the last bit, he counted down and he jumped. But as he jumped, he sort of, what he said is he landed backwards a bit. And apparently, when he hit the cardboard boxes, he just knocked himself out and he was concussed. Mental. Stick to the card tricks, mate. It's
Yeah,
less
I'm going to
dangerous.
say that crazy, that, and it like over the top, that. But they're like right mysterious, that like Dynamo and David Blaine. But like yours is more, like you say, having banter with a crowd and that. And
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can't describe. Probably similar to like watching Tommy Cooper or something, where a lot of his stuff was using the crowd, And I don't compare myself to that genius because you couldn't. There was only one of him, and there is only one of me. No one else is doing it the same way as I'm doing it. And again, that's not big-headed. That's just me being confident in myself. A lot of people who don't know me think I come across as big-headed, and it's totally not. It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, then why should anyone else? You know what I mean? But yeah, similar to Tommy Cooper, which is beautiful because a lot of people sort of said you're like a modern day version of him, which is, it's mental to even be mentioned in the same sentence. You know what I mean?
somebody said that to you the other day, didn't they? Was it was it in
Spain,
Belfast?
yeah, Spain.
All right, yeah.
This old boy come up to me and said, "You're not as good as Tommy Cooper, but you're a close second." And I was like, "Yeah, that'd do me, mate. That'd do me."
What
But
was the what were the first trick that you learned then?
probably making my mum and dad's money disappear, mate.
Was it the magic set then? Was that like what was in the set and stuff? What did it teach you?
I might even have the. Oh, I've got this glass cabinet. I thought it was in there. I've got this glass cabinet, and it's got like all memorabilia in, music memorabilia, signed stuff that I've met, signed stuff I've got from people I've met along the way, like Steve from the Buzzcocks, a load of stuff there. Badly Drawn Boy, the Rifles, Oasis. I've got a Noel Gallagher signed set list for me in there, and a Liam Gallagher signed picture. But it's like at the bottom is all Magic stuff that means a lot. Like the first deck of cards I got, my first ever Magic book, a deck of cards my uncle gave me, and the hold. Stay with me here because I will get to the question, but just stay with me here. And the book that I had was the Paul Daniels Magic book, and I think it was something like 200 tricks or 150 tricks. Okay, so this book was in with the Magic set I got, and it was everything from like the sponge balls to the cups and balls to making a ball sort of roll across the magic wand, like the impossible tunnel where you push a dice through, like the dice to be on number 6 and you push it through and it'll be on number 1. Obviously card tricks. You had like linking rings, but plastic ones, rope, bit of everything, man. And it just kept me, I don't know, it kept you busy. Like you look at the Magic sets now, like sometimes when I'm in a toy shop getting something for the little boy, I have a look, and they're completely shit compared to what they used to be, man. Like Marvin's Magic is still rocking some good stuff, but not many shops sell over, well, at least in Belfast when I looked, don't sell Marvin's Magic stuff. I think you've got to get it online, but that's good for beginners, Marvin's Magic, definitely.
How long does it take you to learn a trick? Then obviously it'll be different now. You've got more experience, but how long does it typically take?
I don't know, man. Like, how long does it take to write a good song? Like, some tricks I've picked. Where I am now, mate, I can literally pick something up. Give me a couple of days and I can master it. Whereas before, it'd be sometimes weeks. There's this one move. See if I've got a deck of cards here. There's this one move. Wait there. Just going to disappear for a minute. Is right here. So there's this one move where you sort of cut the cards with one hand and you flick this card out and catch it. That took me months because what you have to do is sort of learn how to manipulate the cards and be able to do it with just one hand. Like honestly, so like years and years. It's called the hot shot cut, and it is absolutely beautiful. So you could get someone's card, lose it, flick it out, and find it. It's unbelievable. I'm impressing myself here. But like, I remember someone at a Magic club I went to showed me the mechanics of it, and it is literally, it's just training your hands to do stuff that 2 hands should do. You know, just training. And the way I learned it was I weren't even looking. So I was watching the TV and then I just felt myself doing it. And then as I'm watching the TV, this card shot across and I caught it. And I was like, oh. And it literally was like that. You just have it. And then when you've mastered it once, you just can do it again and again. And then like, this may look easy, like flicking the card in and catching it. And maybe it's because I'm making it look easy because I've sort of, I can do it with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have to look. You're catching it every time. That is years and years of just having a deck of cards in your hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like flicking them up and catching it like that. That's sometimes you get people and they would like do the flicking up and the catching. But again, probably won't work again now. But I've been working. I mean, look at that. That is.
I don't even get like
catching it.
Crazy.
Whoa! There we go. There we go.
It's like when people shuffle it. I can't even do that. You know what I mean? When people shuffle it in 2 beats and stuff. So that's just
It's a bit like this though, isn't it? Where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 playing cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And this one is a joker. Yeah. I'll leave that there. This one is a joker. I'll leave that there. This one is a joker. And that one's a joker. and then that turns into an ace. That's an ace, and that's an ace. Like that is just absolutely mental. Like
I don't,
speechless.
yeah, I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Eh?
That's
I also
mad, isn't
don't
it?
know what to
I
say.
like I like this one as well. I like this one. This right, yeah. Just I won't look. Just say stop.
Stop.
It's a bit delayed there, isn't it? Say it before I go slower.
Stop.
There.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is the card that you chose.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, it's on the top there. I placed it about halfway down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two of spades. That weren't yours, was it?
No. That is honestly, I don't. That's crazy. That. How
It
long
is,
does
isn't it?
how long does like that take you to learn?
Um, again, it is learning how to manipulate the cards, and then you make your own routine. That's not a routine. That's just made up on the spot. I just thought what would look good on a camera, but the moves take months, mate, and some take
Yeah.
years to even try and develop them. You know, it's similar to this is the best way I described it, right? I'm not just using this as a name drop, but when I met before Magic to Liam, we were chatting, and I said it's similar. Like some tricks take me just as long as it would for someone to play guitar. And he says, I can't play guitar. And I said, let me tell you something, mate. I make a better sound with the guitar when I throw it down the fucking stairs. And he looked at me and went, a bit like me, our kid. Oh, there you go. We're on the same wavelength.
You mentioned there that you did a trick for Liam. You've done a trick for lots of different musicians and actors and
Yeah,
stuff. What was your favourite and who gave you the best reaction?
that's a good question. A good question. I like that one. Uh, I mean, listen, whenever I meet Weller in the studio and that, his reactions are brilliant because that is a man who's seen it all and done it all in his life. And to have a great man like that speechless is absolutely mental. But when I did the Magic to Liam, I did a trick where the card ended up coming out of my mouth, I think, or was no, it either come out of my mouth or it ended up in his hand. I can't remember. It was one of them, but he looked at me and was like, fucking, and he just come in, gave me a big hug, and there's a photo of him giving me a handshake, and then after that he sort of brought me in and hugged me. But he was brilliant to perform to, absolute gentleman as well. And there's similar to a lot of people I've met. I hate it when you see people and they're calling them like arrogant pricks and this and that. 9 times out of 10, the people who say that they've never met them in their life. They may have just tried to get an autograph or something and they've brushed them off. But what you've got to remember is imagine being that famous that about 200, 300 people every day are trying to get your autograph. And
Yeah.
then that you're always going to disappoint someone. You can't, do you know what I mean? But whenever I've met people who I look up to and idolize and I've performed magic to them, they've been spot on, man. Absolutely spot on. But I think it's probably the best reactions I've got is probably from, the two names I mentioned, mate, because growing up, they were my heroes and they still are, even though, I've built a friendship with some of them names. They're still my heroes.
I liked the one the Libertines put on the YouTube channel where you did it with Carl and he thought
Yeah.
he'd messed the trick up, didn't he? And it were in his cigarette pack.
Yes, yes. That was hard to do. Very, very hard to do because he weren't expecting that, and I didn't know if I could get away with it, but it worked. That was in Plymouth before before was it after? No, that was before the show. We did sound checking that, and I said, right, come on, I want to try something. Film this if it works. The thing is, right, that deserves fucking. I'm not even just saying this, right. If Dynamo did that, that would get millions of views, right? But the way social media is at the moment is with everything like these algorithms and shit like that, stuff
Yeah.
just gets lost. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I put a video of me and Simon Fowler, Ocean Colour Scene, and it bombed. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is mental. And then I did it a couple of months after, and it just went. through the roof. So it just depends on what people are doing at the time, I
Yeah,
think. But social media's fucking clapped at times, isn't it?
it's mental. Yeah, like you say, some stuff just even the same stuff can either just go berserk kite or just nothing. But
Mental.
you mentioned there the Libertines that you when you did that with Carl, it was on tour. What was it like touring with
Mm.
them?
Oh, do you know, mate? Like a dream come true. Again, that's a band that I grew up listening to. My heroes. Again, I use that word. I don't just use it lightly. They're people I look up to. Pete Doherty, one of the best singer-songwriters this world has ever seen. The geezer is an absolute genius. And being on that tour bus, I got to see firsthand just what a genius he is. And there was sometimes in the evening when it was just me and him on the tour bus, and we were playing guitar. He was playing guitar, and I was singing, and we were mucking about. Like I don't know, we were singing Beatles, the Jam. We were just having a laugh. You know what I mean? And that's memories that I don't take them for granted. That go with me till I'm dead. You know what I mean? To be in the presence of greatness and to experience that is mental. And it was just an amazing vibe. Like they treated me like family, so much so that I classed them, all four of them, as brothers. You know, John, Gary, Cole, and Pete. I classed them as family because the way they looked after me. It was just me on the tour bus with them. Didn't have anyone with me. It was just me, and I was there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks or something. No, 2 weeks, and yeah, 2 weeks, eight shows, and you know that's brilliant that they took to me like one of their own.
Yeah, that's what it's about, and you get. I'm sure like there's some other acts or higher like like celebrities now, pop stars that'd be a bit up their own ass kind of thing. But it's nice that they embraced you.
Yeah,
What
yeah, man.
so like obviously you don't get a lot of you don't get a lot of magicians supporting bands on tour. What was the reception like when you'd walk out?
No, it's different, isn't it? Because I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm a bit like dunking a fucking penguin in a hot chocolate or a coffee. Like, not everyone's going to like it. But the people who liked it. You know, put it this way: I've only ever been booed once, and that was in Hull because the screen at the back weren't working. So I just ended up slating them about their football team. And then, and I've only ever had one pint of beer chucked at me, and that was in Margate. But I absolutely destroyed the geezer. I said, like, listen, mate, you've had to queue up on a Monday, get your job seekers allowance to come and see a magician at a Libertines show, to then throw your beer over him that you've probably paid a fiver for that you ain't got. You know what I mean? I turned it into something funny, but he listen. I've just toured with the last tour I did was with the Brian Jonestown Massacre, right? And the only badge that I always Google myself after, and they always said the best advice I got actually was from Cole and Pete, and they said never search your name after a show, never do it. And I did to see if there was some bad reviews. Now the enemy done a bad review in Margate, but I said, listen, the only other time I'd get the enemy is if I run out of fucking toilet paper. That's all it's worth. And they said my act was shambolic. Now, if they really dissect that down, they would see that that was the idea that I was going for. Like anyone who sees my tricks, I mean, for instance, what you just said about that trick with me and Cole, I made it look like it went wrong. That's the part of the act. You know what I mean? And then there's not been that a bit. This is hand on heart. I don't get bad review. Like that was probably the one I've ever had. I've had some stuff on Reddit, but fuck me, who goes on Reddit? Like 80-year-old fucking virgins. Do you know what I mean? Like some geezer was like, I can't believe they had a magician on tour with the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And I was like, listen, you're probably in a band and you're fucking gutted that I've got the slot and you ain't. So, you know, it don't bother me at the time because I read it straight after the tour. It bothered me. But then I'm like, no one, absolutely no, like there was a thing they said in Belfast that people were booing me. And I've got a video of me in Belfast on the stage and everyone was shouting out, do one more trick. Like the whole crowd was singing, one more trick, one more trick. There's no booze there, mate. You know what I mean? But as I said, I don't expect to be everyone's cup of tea because they go there to see a band. They don't go there to see a magician. So you've got to win them over. And I think I do that because I'm, at the end of the day, like I say to them, I'm one of you. Difference is I'm getting paid to be here and you pay to be here. So, you know.
Do you prefer doing like tricks one on one, or do you prefer it in front of a crowd?
Oh, in front of a crowd all day long, mate. Because I prefer the more people watching me, the better, mate. Because I just feel so alive. Like as I said, did the SSC Arena, Belfast. That's probably the biggest. I don't know. I don't know if that or might have been the biggest crowd I've done. 4,500, 5,000, something like that. I don't know, but I know I've performed in front of maybe six is probably the biggest I performed in front of. I think that was at Hull. I think that was Hull Arena. I think that was about six. I'm not sure to be honest, but I know you think some of the crowds I've performed in front of are fucking thousands, mate. You know, and you can't lose your bottle. You have to go out there. As soon as you go out on the stage, mate, in front of thousands of people and you lose your bottle, that is it. They will chew you up and spit you out. They will let you know that you don't deserve to be on that stage. So what you have to do is as soon as you walk out there, you say, right, listen, I'm fucking here now. Get on this. And it works. You know, if people who've been to see me support people or see that the crowd are like that because they want to see what happens, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when someone does shout, they get tore a new one, mate. Listen, I've destroyed people, and I love it. But then some people don't think, you know, like there was Dublin, played Dublin with the Brian Jonestown. I absolutely crucified this geezer. It was brilliant, but it's all I do it for a lot. I don't do it to make someone look silly. I do it because you've teed me up and now you're going
Yeah.
to get knocked out of the park. You know, it's a home run, but I don't do it out of spite. Like at the end of every show, if anyone's ever took offence, I'm always in the crowd after and I speak to people and say, look, I hope you didn't take offence to that. And they're like, mate, thought you were brilliant. I was like, yeah, I was, wasn't I? But you know what I mean? Like you just have a laugh with people. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, they've paid their money, hard-earned money. It's so hard to go to gigs these days and it costs a fortune. You need to entertain them. And I like to think I give them something different rather
Yeah.
than just like, oh, I'm going to perform a card trick now. No, you're going to fucking shut the fuck up and see what happens here. Because you might like it. If you don't, I'm going to start telling jokes.
Something I kind of I don't understand massively is the magic circle. What's all that about?
Oh, I can't tell you that, mate. Otherwise, I'll have to fucking knock on your door and put you out or something like that.
No, I was gonna say, is it like a right secret thing you're not allowed to talk about?
No, so it's like listen, it's the most prestigious club in the world, and it's the home of over the numbers something like 20,000 or 50,000 secrets, all under one roof. It's got the biggest magic library. Basically, anyone who's anyone in the magic industry is a member of the Magic Circle. Tommy Cooper, Dynamo, Paul Daniels, Wayne Dobson, Marvin Burgess is he's the chairman and he's the founder of Marvin's Magic. So all the big magicians, members of the Magic Circle, and I thought I fancy a bit of that. So did my exam and passed with flying colours, as they say in French.
Is that what it is? Then you've got to do an exam to get in, like.
Oh, of course, mate. Otherwise, anyone could do it. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you think you go on YouTube, you learn yourself 2 card tricks, and then you could say you're a magician, but it don't work like that. You know, you say if they were just handing out, I don't know, handing out fucking memberships to the Magic Circle, like Jehovah's Witnesses hand out flyers, then everyone will have one, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it don't work like that. You have to show that you're really keen to be you've got to prove that you know a lot about magic, basically, and you're not just someone who wants to try and make a few quid and scam people, basically, man.
Well, I read something that Penn and Teller aren't allowed in that either because they show how magic tricks are done.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Fantastic magicians, but I don't like that they tell people how tricks are done. But listen, that's what's got them multi-millions, man.
I would say that must be part of the buzz for a magician, though, like knowing you're the only one who knows how that trick's just being done.
100%, 100%, 100%.
What's your favourite trick then that you've learned?
Anything to do with cards, to be honest, mate. Anything to do with cards. You know, the possibilities are endless with a deck of cards.
Mentioning Penn and Teller, I saw a lad on Instagram. He showed him like how it wasn't card tricks, it was more like illusion. Do you know what I mean? And
Oh yeah, yeah.
he was telling how it's done. It takes away, doesn't it? Like spoils the. You'd rather not
It does,
know.
mate. You know, it's like being a 6-year-old and then your mum and dad coming in and telling you Santa ain't real or neither's the tooth fairy, but here's a couple of quid. It just takes the spark away from you, doesn't it? And that's
Yeah,
real magic. You
exactly.
know, that's probably the first bit of magic we all truly hear about is Santa Claus and the tooth fairy. You know, and then once you forget, you know, once you get told that that's not real, boom, that loses the spark, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what's your personal highlight of your career so far? I know you've mentioned touring with the Libertines and performing for Paul Weller. Is there anything else?
Mm. I mean, listen, mate, being a member in a Magic Circle is a big plus for me. Performing in the SSE Arena, performing in front of London, Kentish Town twice, Rock City 3 times, Barrowlands in Glasgow, you know, doing TV shows, you know, like the fuck it, it's just mental how all this has happened from a hobby and then it ends up being something that you do. Mental, mate. I don't know. Listen, you could ask me this tomorrow and I could fire off sort of ten different things or next week, but it changes all the time. But I just love it, and I'm very grateful that I've had these opportunities in this career.
Yeah, yeah. So we spoke about the highs of your magic career, but you did have a low with addiction to drugs and drink. How are you doing with that? I know you've been sober for a couple of years now.
Listen, mate, like it's no secret. This industry, it can swallow you up and take you if you let it, you know. And there's no secret that I used to like to party, you know. Fuck me, like you hear a lot of people saying like literally it's easier to get a drink and a drug than it is to order a fucking pizza, mate. But you know, it comes to a point in your career where you think, how much do I want to party and how much do I want to go to the next level? And since being sober, it's took me to the next level, 100%. And my only regret is I didn't do it probably 10 years ago, when I was probably about 23, sorry, 33 now. If I did it when I was 23, I'll tell you now, I would have smashed everything out of the park. And that is, again, that's the God's honest truth. That's not me being big headed or saying, look at me, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I know that I'm good. You know, as I said, like if you don't believe in yourself, don't even wake up in the morning. Like, what is the fucking point? If you don't truly believe that you are the best out there, what is the fucking point? You're just making up numbers. And as I said to you, there'd be times where I'd do a show, did a big show, or I did a TV appearance or something, or brung something out, and it was a party. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. You know, it comes to a point, as I said, where you need to put the handbrake on. And as I said, 2 years ago, June the 30th is my sobriety date, so it's coming up to 2 years, and it'd be 700 days Saturday, I think. 700 days. I've got an app because it's always good to track your progress because you need to reward yourself when you've hit a milestone, and that'd be, I don't know, getting a fucking Nando's or getting a milkshake. You know, always reward yourself in little ways, but it's always good to remember that, you know, stuff like that can drive you fucking crazy, man. And luckily enough, I got out at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. When people watch these videos, I hope they enjoy it, obviously, but I hope they take something away from it. What advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with drink or drug addiction?
You know what? Like the best thing. Listen, everyone is naive and they say they don't struggle or that it's easy to stop whenever they want. Fuck me. I said it all the time to people. Oh, I could stop if I wanted to. It's because you don't really want to sort of admit that you have a problem with it. You know, you'd have people here who go like they can have a couple and then stop. Fuck, I couldn't have a couple, mate. If I had one, it'd be a fucking write off, man. Do you know what I mean? But at the time, it was fun. But people are always scared to try something different, right? And then you always get people saying, "Well, I've tried, but I keep slipping up." Let me tell you something now. If you hang around with a prostitute enough times, you're going to end up fucking her, aren't you? Right? If you hang around the pub enough times, you're going to end up drinking. So why, if you want to stop drinking, don't hang around the pub. If you want to see a change, but you're still doing the same thing, you know,
Yeah,
doing the same thing and not seeing a change is the definition of insanity. You know, because nothing's going to change. You need to get outside your comfort zone and go, right, I'm going to do this. Right, I'm going to do that. You know, it's worth it, man. Fuck me. Just look at me. I mean, I was in lockdown. I think I was a 40 waist. Like, no, I know for a fact I was 40 waist because I've got a pair of fucking CP company cargo pants in now. I've kept them because I think they were a 42 or something, right? And they fitted me. And now I can't even fucking get them. Like, they just slide down, mate. But it's good. I kept them as a reminder of how much weight I put on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's good to see you've come out of it and come out the other end.
100%, man. 100%.
So, what have you got lined up? Have you got any shows lined up where people can catch you?
Yeah, like I'm playing Margate again at the end of the year in Justine's, which is Cole and his partner's nightclub. I got my biggest headline show to date at the Grand Opera House in Belfast. I'm doing the Oasis exhibition at Salford Men's Club in a couple of weeks' time. I'm out in Luton in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, going back to Spain to do some more shows. It's coming thick and fast, which is good, man. You've got to keep the wheels turning. If you stop, everything stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, it's been great to talk to you. I've enjoyed that. Cheers.
Good, man.
Have you got one more trick to finish off?
Oh fuck me, give me a break. Yeah. Go on, we'll do this quick one. Right. You see on here, I've got a stick man.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you flick through, it's like a book. He does stuff, right? Name any card in a deck.
I've got what to say out loud.
Well, yeah, I'm not fucking Darren Brown, am I?
No, but yeah, right. Five of hearts.
Five of hearts, yeah. This ain't the trick, by the way. Me finding the five of hearts, that'd be fucking stupid because that's easy. It's the five of hearts there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, take the five of hearts out. As I said, he knows one trick and one trick only. You see him?
yeah.
He's going to load himself in the cannon. He's going to fire himself out. He's going to catch a card, and that card is the five of hearts. Thank you, and fucking good night.
Nice one, yeah. I honestly, that's mind blowing. That, yeah, class.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, thank you for chatting. It's been great to speak to you.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on, and I wish you all the best in this.
Thank you. You too.